Have you ever thought of someone only for them to call you moments later? Or stumbled upon a book that contained the exact words you needed to hear? Or met a stranger whose brief presence changed the direction of your entire life? Most people dismiss these moments as random chance, a quirk of the universe, or mere luck. We are taught that life is random, a mechanical unfolding of cause and effect without deeper meaning. But some experiences seem to resist this explanation. They resonate too deeply, arriving at just the right time, carrying a sense of significance that defies probability. Carl Jung was among the first to name this phenomenon. He called it synchronicity, a meaningful coincidence with no apparent causal connection, but with undeniable psychological and spiritual impact. A glimpse into the secret order behind visible reality. It is as if life sometimes arranges itself into patterns designed not by logic, but by purpose. As if the universe is an active participant in your story, not merely a passive backdrop. Synchronicity is not about superstition or fantasy. It is about becoming sensitive to the hidden language of life. A language that speaks through symbols, intuition, and the delicate threads connecting all things. When you open yourself to it, life stops feeling like a random sequence of events. It becomes a living dialogue, a conversation between your soul and the cosmos. Carl Jung introduced the concept of synchronicity after years of studying dreams, myths, and what he called the collective unconscious. He noticed that certain events in his patients' lives, and his own, could not be explained by cause and effect alone. Jung described synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence of two or more events, where something other than probability is at work. In his famous example, a patient recounted a dream involving a golden scarab beetle. As she described it, Jung heard a tapping at the window, and when he opened it, a scarab-like beetle flew into the room. This seemingly impossible convergence cracked her rigid rationalism and opened the door to deep psychological healing. For Jung, such events suggested a hidden order to the universe, and a causal connecting principle linking mind and matter, not through linear chains of cause, but through symbolic resonance. He saw synchronicity as proof that the psyche and the world are not separate. Rather, they are reflections of a deeper unity, what ancient wisdom traditions have called the unus mundus, the one world. Through synchronicity, the unconscious becomes visible. The hidden desires, fears, and potentials within us find echoes in the outer world. Synchronicity bridges the gap between spirit and matter. It reveals that life is not only happening to us, but also through us, and even for us. In recognizing this, we move from passive observers of life to active participants in a greater unfolding mystery. Skeptics often argue that coincidences are inevitable, that in a universe of infinite complexity, patterns are bound to emerge by sheer chance. And of course, they are partly right. Our brains are excellent pattern recognition machines. We see shapes in clouds, faces in shadows, and meaning in randomness. But synchronicity is not just pattern recognition. It carries a different weight, an emotional charge, a sense of profound rightness that ordinary coincidences lack. It arrives at critical junctures, in times of deep questioning, grief, transformation, or awakening. It touches something beyond the intellect, a knowing deeper than logic. When you experience true synchronicity, you feel as though a secret door has opened. You are no longer just living, you are being spoken to. It's the chance meeting that gives you the missing piece to a lifelong puzzle. The letter that arrives just when you are losing hope. The phrase overheard in passing that answers a silent prayer. Synchronicity reminds us that reality is more mysterious and intimate than we usually dare to imagine. That consciousness is not trapped inside the skull, but is woven into the very fabric of existence. When we treat these moments seriously, not superstitiously, but reverently, we begin to live in a richer, more meaningful world. A world where nothing is random and everything matters. Synchronicities often find us when logic fails and the heart hungers for guidance. They arrive like unexpected gifts, timed so perfectly that they seem impossible to ignore. Here are a few real-life stories that capture the subtle magic of meaningful coincidences. A woman, feeling lost and disillusioned with her career, wandered into a small bookstore one gray afternoon. Aimlessly browsing, she brushed against a high shelf, and a book fell directly into her hands. The title? The Call of Your Soul, Awakening to Your True Work. Curious, she bought it and devoured it in one night. The very next day, an unexpected opportunity arrived. A position that aligned perfectly with her long-suppressed dreams. She recognized the synchronicity instantly, feeling a shiver of awe. To her, it was not coincidence. It was communication. A reminder that her life was not off track, but gently guided by an unseen wisdom. The book was a doorway, not an accident. In another moment, a man sat alone in a crowded coffee shop, grappling with the terrifying decision of moving abroad. Doubt gnawed at him. Could he leave behind the familiar, the safe, the predictable? As he stirred his coffee absent-mindedly, a stranger asked if he could share the table. As they spoke, the stranger shared his story, how he had once moved to another country on a whim, chasing a dream, against all logic. He spoke of the hardships, yes, but also the unimaginable rewards. The man realized, listening to this unexpected mirror of his own dilemma, that he already knew his answer. Synchronicity had given him the courage he couldn't find alone. And sometimes, synchronicity blurs the line between dream and waking life. A young artist kept dreaming of a foreign city, its cobbled streets, ancient fountains, and winding alleys. At first, she dismissed the dreams as imagination, but months later, during an impromptu trip with friends, she wandered into a plaza and froze. It was the exact place from her dreams, down to the last stone. Standing there, she felt something awaken within her. A part of herself she hadn't known was waiting. The city became the birthplace of a new creative chapter in her life. She realized the dream had not been fantasy. It had been a map. Synchronicities like these do not come with flashing signs. They come with whispers. And only those who dare to listen truly hear them. Jung believed that synchronicity reveals the deep relationship between our inner and outer worlds. He saw it as evidence that reality is not split between mind and matter, but united by a deeper, symbolic order. At critical moments, when the conscious mind is stretched beyond its limits, by love, loss, transformation, the unconscious rises to meet the outer world. Synchronicity is the bridge. It is a glimpse into the hidden architecture of reality, the secret music behind appearances. In the Unus Mundus, the one world of ancient philosophy, everything is connected. The river and the thought, the bird and the dream, the stranger and the prayer. Synchronicity reveals that life is not a blind machine, but a living tapestry of meaning. Through it, we see that our personal story is part of a larger story, one written not by chance, but by spirit. Jung called this the individuation process, the journey toward becoming one's true, whole self. Synchronicities are signposts along that road, guiding us home. When we honor them, we step into a deeper, more soulful participation in life itself. Synchronicities rarely come dressed in certainty. They arrive subtly, cloaked in the everyday, asking for your attention, your sensitivity. Learning to recognize them is less about intellectual analysis and more about intuitive listening. The heart knows what the mind cannot explain. Here are signs that you are encountering true synchronicity. Emotional resonance. You feel a deep, almost electric sense of significance when it happens. Precise timing. The event occurs exactly when it addresses an internal struggle or longing. Symbolic mirroring. The outer event reflects a dream, a meditation, a buried feeling. Repetition. Symbols, numbers, names, or themes begin appearing in clusters. Pay attention not just with your mind, but with your whole being. Notice what makes you pause, what stirs your soul. Sometimes a random phrase overheard on the street carries the answer you were too afraid to ask. Sometimes the answer arrives before you even know the question. The language of synchronicity is subtle. It does not shout, it sings. To hear it, you must become quiet enough inside to notice the music. The more you honor synchronicities, the more they seem to happen. It is not magic. It is relationship. Life responds when we engage it with wonder. Not all synchronicities are comforting. Some are challenging, even painful. Sometimes life mirrors back not our dreams, but our wounds. Not our hopes, but our fears. You meet the person who embodies the very trait you deny in yourself. You lose what you cling to most tightly. You encounter obstacles that force you to face your deepest insecurities. As we explored in our previous video, signs your shadow is controlling your life. The shadow is the hidden, repressed side of ourselves. It longs not for destruction, but for integration. Shadow synchronicities bring the unconscious to the surface. They tear down illusions and reveal hidden truths. A breakup that shatters your self-image, yet sets you free. A failure that humbles your pride, yet opens new doors. A confrontation that burns away falsehood, leaving only what is real. These experiences are not punishments. They are invitations to wholeness. Synchronicity, even in its darker forms, is a call to embrace all of yourself. The light and the dark, the known and the hidden. By facing your shadow, you step into a deeper relationship with life itself, one rooted in truth rather than illusion. We live in an age obsessed with planning, goals, and measurable outcomes. And while discipline has its place, it cannot replace intuition. You cannot reason your way entirely through the mystery of your own life. You must also listen, watch, and feel. Synchronicity is often the soul's way of whispering, "This way." In our video, Finding Your True Purpose, Carl Jung's Guide to Self-Discovery, we explored how the journey to authenticity is less about forging a path and more about uncovering the one already unfolding beneath your feet. Synchronicities are often signposts on that path. Moments when your inner world and outer world align, when meaning crystallizes out of chaos. You meet the right person at the right time. You stumble upon the opportunity you weren't even seeking. You recognize a pattern you hadn't seen before. The key is to trust the guidance, even when it makes little logical sense. The soul speaks a different language than the mind. Following synchronicity does not mean abandoning reason. It means balancing it with receptivity, allowing the unseen currents of life to carry you where you most belong. When you live this way, you find yourself moving through life not as a hunter, but as a dancer, not as a conqueror, but as a participant in a living, breathing story. To live attuned to synchronicity is not to expect constant miracles or easy answers. It is to cultivate presence, humility, and awe. Here are ways to invite more synchronicity into your life. Stay open. Drop rigid expectations about how things should happen. Cultivate curiosity. Follow what fascinates you, even if it seems irrational. Honor dreams and symbols. They are the bridge to the unconscious. Trust your feelings. Resonance matters more than logic. Slow down. Meaning often hides in the spaces we rush past. Living this way transforms your experience of reality. The world becomes animated with meaning. Ordinary events shimmer with possibility. You realize you are not navigating a dead landscape. You are dancing within a conscious, responsive cosmos. Synchronicity becomes not an exception, but a natural expression of a deeper order. And you, by listening and responding, become a co-creator in that sacred dance. When you live with open eyes, you see that nothing is random. The missed train, the unexpected meeting, the book that falls off the shelf, the dream you cannot forget. Each is a thread in the tapestry. Each carries meaning, if you are willing to receive it. Synchronicity reminds us that life is not a mechanical accident. It is a living mystery, full of intelligence and beauty. It invites us to move through the world not with fear, but with wonder. Not with cynicism, but with reverence. It calls us back to the truth that every life matters, every story matters, every moment matters. Because nothing is random, everything is whispering. And your soul, ancient, wise, and longing to remember, already knows how to listen. If this reflection resonated with you, please support our journey by liking this video. And if you feel called to keep exploring the mysteries of inner growth and meaning, subscribe to The Art of Being. Together, let's keep listening to the music beneath the surface of life.